jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back
First in the building, Tyrese on deck. Damn, Diddy, less money, less problems. What's good with it? Salute to everyone that's pulling up, man. Man, you already know. Back with another one. Hot grease in full effect. NONAME on deck. Oh, yeah, let's get it. Big blunts and boxing in the building. The gold on deck. What's good with it? Let's get down to it. Those of you that's pulling up, man, just pretty much hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? Y'all grown now. I ain't trying to talk to you like you kids. You grown. I'm talking to you like an adult. Y'all are grown ass adults. I shouldn't have to tell y'all to hit the like button. But can you hit the like button for me, please? You know what I'm saying? For those of you that's been active today on the Sunday, once you close your Bibles from Sunday service, I'm hoping that you was able to get yourself right with the Holy Spirit or whatever that is. You know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all do some grimy stuff during the week, and a lot of y'all successful during the week. However and whenever you felt the need this morning to go before him, I hope everything worked out for you. Real talk. That's real. You know what I'm saying? Once again, boxing is in a state of confusion, as always. You know what I'm saying? Because only in the community of boxing, you have rumors that come out that people get up in arms about. And some people love putting rumors out because they have no remorse about the backlash. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? So when rumors hit the boxing community, this is one of the only combat communities that latch on to it. You know what I'm saying? Like a plate of food when you've been fasting for 40 days and 40 nights. You know what I'm saying? That cup of water, if you were stuck in the desert for a little bit longer than you expected in Death Valley. People latch on to this shit, y'all. And the rumor has made it around, went a little bit circular, as I call it. It has been in rotation. This guy right here, Lesnar, whoever he may be, said breaking sources close to Errol Spence. Now, I don't have to read you too much further than that when they say sources close to Errol Spence. This is to the detriment of the boxing community. It has been so many who have sit up here and put out clickbait or fake information. And it was hilarious to me that this information started to make its rounds, only to hear, let me start from the beginning. I heard my colleague, Shaw News put it out. He didn't put it out. He spoke on it. He emphasized gossip and rumors. All right. We really need to understand that is a extremely important part of professional reporting, right? So he put it out with gossip and rumors. But then what became laughable is that a little bit more than an hour ago, Blue Blood, he said it was fake news. Now I don't care too much about who believes, you know what I'm saying, what is fake news or whatever. But it's just some people that make their nose grow been making their nose grow for quite some time with fake news. Now this is not about him. I'm just saying, you have a lot of clickbait hours out there, and it was hilarious to see you're convincing the people that this is fake news based off the sources that you've spoken to that is absolutely saying no, it's not true. So I'm gonna give you my take on it. This guy mentioned and put out there that sources close to Errol Spence Jr. have declared that he has broken ties with longtime trainer Derrick James. Calvin Ford and Roy Jones Jr. have been named as top candidates to potentially replace James for the rematch against Terrence Crawford in December. First of all, those of you that stay close to the game knows that Roy Jones Jr. and Errol Spence doesn't have the most healthy relationship when it comes to the level of respect. It's been said that Roy tried to, shake his hand. Reach out and shake Errol Spence's hand, and he didn't want to shake his hand. Okay. Roy Jones has also been on record as getting backlash from the YTC, just simply based off him assessing what he believed Errol Spence's record was to him at the time. And he was just waiting. Once he was asked, what does he think? He gave his take like the jury's still out on Errol Spence because I'm waiting for him to fight somebody. I'm just waiting for him to fight somebody. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. I'm just waiting for him to fight somebody. And I've spoken with Roy Jones, on record, off record, about this situation. I interviewed him. I did an interview about this particular subject on how his relationship with Errol Spence somewhat was fragmented a bit due to him just taking what Roy Jones said as if, he didn't fight nobody. And a lot of these fighters, even though they're in a full contact sport, they do have sensitive emotions. They do get hyped up over little small stuff. And you ask yourself, well, why is that the case? But this guy put Calvin Ford and Roy Jones Jr. in there. And a lot of people was talking about Roy Jones lately because Eubanks stepped in there with Liam Smith yesterday. So, how beneficial it is to throw Roy's name back up in there, you know what I'm saying, with this particular matter, knowing that Spence just recently exercised his rematch clause. A lot of people are not going to put all that together like that because they feel it's a triangle theory and all this other shit. It's not. It's just what's out there. He been on record saying he's going to exercise his rematch clause. People start talking about that. And then the Eubanks situation over there at B&B. He used to be with Roy. Now he was over there with Bomac. People was curious to see how he looked. He went in there. He stopped Liam Smith. So, Bomac is back in the limelight like he never left about his improvement of Eubanks. You know what I'm saying? A former fighter that was trained by Roy Jones. So all this stuff is just out there circulating. He mentioned Calvin Ford. I don't know what connection this is, with Calvin Ford. We know that he's a champion trainer. We know he has a lot of fighters over there, right? So to me, honestly, I don't think that Calvin Ford would be such a bad idea. but I don't know if it is an idea at all. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe it'll be a bad idea, but I don't believe it's an idea at all for Errol Spence. I don't think he'll come all the way over there just so Calvin Smith can train him over there at that gym. Um, will it be a different look? Yeah. Yeah, definitely be a different look. This is my take on this whole situation when it comes down to the boxing truth. You know what I'm saying? Where people are guessing, if Spence moves on, is Spence going to move on from Diddy James? I spoke on this, right? Very effective immediately, following that situation that happened July 29th. And I said the only way Spence becomes competitive against Terrence Crawford is that he part ways with Diddy. I made it perfectly clear. Just because you with somebody, in the sport of boxing for that long period of time doesn't mean you have to stay with them, especially when it comes down to the biggest fight of your career. You don't have to stay with them. My suggestion was just that. I just put it out there. I believe he should leave. Period. I truly believe that he should try something different. What's the reason? You know what I'm saying? What's the reason for him to try something new? To see if it's something that can play itself out like Eubanks seen yesterday. Eubanks went in there and was able to get his revenge on Liam Smith and get a stoppage. It wasn't an early stoppage like Liam Smith did to him, but he was able to redeem himself. Redemption is very much the key, especially in combat sports when you're a fighter and you take a L, you want to go back in there and run it back. Right? You want to go back and run it back. And that's all I'm saying with Errol Spence. Try something new, man. You're 33 years old. I don't believe that you should even take a snapshot at Mel coming back in the rematch without understanding that Mel, and deep down inside there, EJ, that Mel Charlo, his primary coach is not Derrick James. You know what I'm saying? He deals with Joan Guzman too. So he was able to get up out of there and he feels good where he at. They may piggyback off one another or, tag team, so to speak, or co-op when it comes to training Mel Charlo. But if you look back to listen to what Bomac said, I felt it was very profound when he said, sit back and watch, pretty much sit back and watch me work. You know what I'm saying? He pretty much said, no more hiding. Bomac put it out there, no more hiding. You know what I'm saying? Bomac put it out there pretty much as if Derrick James did not have an undisputed fighter in his stable already. He pretty much was telling the people that he was telling Diddy James, hey, watch me work and see if you can ever be where I'm at right now. Even though this man had been trainer of the year, Bomac was sending the message out to the people. Pretty much what he knows behind the scene. Each time a fighter comes up or something comes up when it comes to Bomac, this is a person who obviously does his studying because he said he had looked at Liam Smith before. That means this man is studying different fighters, not just on fight week when they actually fall in his lap, but he's studying fighters prior to any of that ever happened. He's just doing it for the sport. So when you got a person that's studying fighters just to improve his common knowledge, that's a dangerous person. That's a person who's really trying to, see what habits he can, the pros and cons rather of a fighter. You know what I'm saying? The positive negatives of different fighters. You know what I'm saying? Archiving different style points that they have within their technique. Just studying certain, studying their strengths and weaknesses. That's what I see when it comes to Bomac, right? But what he said to Diddy James was almost like, regardless if you got Jamel Charlo in there, you didn't build him up to undisputed. It was almost like he didn't even recognize it. He wasn't even recognizing that he had Jermell Charlo as an undisputed fighter. So that leads me to this right here. Is Errol Spence gonna do something that we don't expect him to? Stand up for himself, depart ways, and get a new, fresh environment? You know what I'm saying? Make a command decision at the end of his career to say, I want to go somewhere else, like you see a lot of other fighters doing. You see Ryan Garcia moving. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You see AJ moving. All these cats that's moving around at the last minute, or individuals who have moved around from different trainers to trainers. Is Errol Spence willing to take that move and get up out of there, or he just want to go in there and get his ass beat again? Is it in him to make a command decision to get the hell up out of Dodge, man? Is it something that he feel that he could do outside of what people know him for? People know him for being over there with Diddy. Also, people know him from going in there July 29th and looking bad. All right? Looking absolutely bad. So this is my finger pointing moment when it comes to placing judgment on people. And I don't judge people. I'm just saying finger pointing as far as, where the culpability is at. I look at Diddy James as a person that has received an award. And I mentioned this before. If you receive an award for Coach of the Year, you're pretty much leveling up. You're pretty much placing yourself at a higher level outside of the average coach, right? So that means when you approach situations that supposed to have enough wherewithal, knowledge, proactiveness to do what it takes to go in there and perform like you're a coach that's received a Coach of the Year award. You're supposed to go over there and be at that level, that astute level, that professor level. You know what I'm saying? You're not just considered the average coach number. You're a champion coach. That's what you are. You're on the championship level, not a secondary. You're at a legitimate championship levels. Not only that, is that you have multiple fighters in your stable that have won championships, right? So when you go into a fight like you did July 29th, it is absolutely no excuse for your fighter to look the way he did. Now, granted, there's some other variables that people are always going to factor into this. They're going to say, oh man, he was out of the ring. He had the accident. He had some other shit going on. But what I'm primarily speaking about is the fact that the planning process, it didn't look like they planned accordingly. It didn't look like they sat down and took some time just to study and plan this out. Strategically plan this shit. You know what I'm saying? Look at some of these fights that you thought that wasn't anything and see if there's a habit that Terrence Crawford is used to. See, did he have habits? You know what I'm saying? See what his strengths was. You know what I'm saying? On top of those habits that he had. If you went in there with the mindset, Diddy, that you already know what all the instruments sound like, and you didn't need to switch up anything, you like the way it was sounding. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Then you exactly got what you needed. Y'all went in there in front of millions. Not to mention those who was in attendance who say they put big money up on Spence. But for you to go in there knowing deep down inside that the seat time, you didn't spend enough seat time. You should have spent enough seat time and not underestimating Terrence Crawford the way you did. So since that is now over, this whole live stream is pretty much on what should Spence do next. And I won't retract what I said. I just think he needs some fresh air. He needs a different look. Only if he's willing to rededicate himself to go in here and be more competitive than the first time. You know what I'm saying? That's the only reason. Like if you're willing to sit up here and try to cry wolf, pull the wolf over those who are around you, and make it seem like you want to go in there and be more competitive. It's not about the check, right? It's not about the check. If you want to prove to the people it's not about the check, then you need to switch it up. You definitely need to switch it up. Absolutely. You have to. That you switch it up, or else you're going to go in there and look worse. And those individuals are not going to pay attention to you, you know what I'm saying, with respect, to say that, man, you knew what areas you needed to correct, starting with your coach. You knew what was going on behind the scenes. You knew a lot of things, but you chose not to fix it. If you got rumors that's floating up here that people putting out here that you're gonna leave, remember that, EJ. I put it out there for you. Very, very quickly, I put it out there for you. This is what you need to do. Whether you heard it or not and took heed to it. But if you've been with a coach that long in your career, and he was with you through the travels to collect 3 belts, and somehow along the line, you and your coaches up here thinking that it would be an astounding feat for you to be undisputed at the welterweight division, and your coach knew. And this is not eliminating you, EJ, from you cutting corners and not doing what you're supposed to do. But I'm just saying, as a coach, right? If you've been with this guy for the longest period of time, and in that division, you knew what the plan was. You knew when he was coming and going with the gym. You knew the pros and cons of training EJ. So with all that assessment that you had for years and years and years, and that's all you had to present, once it came down to you all finally having to step up to the plate, because you all put undisputed on your manifesto. You put undisputed on your manifesto to go in there and look the way you did. There's no way in hell that coach is going to be next to me walking down that. There's no way. Or he can walk with you down the aisle. Okay. But this is what I'm saying. The instructions he's giving you, come on, it's not like you can't get any other instructions. You know what I'm saying? You listen to the instructions that Bomac was giving Terrence. What's instructions if you don't have a listener? A listener that just happen to be the fighter that has to go out there and execute those instructions. How important is instructions if they falling on deaf ears? This shit ain't important. So you EJ has to be understanding enough to say, if you're not listening to DJ, I mean, you got to go. You know what I'm saying? If you're not listening to him, if you know he's not giving you, sound, solid instructions enough for you to go out there and make changes, then you got to go. If you remember, you was in the fight. If you remember looking back on this fight, on what Crawford was able to do to you, and remember the instructions that DJ was giving you, and you felt like, man, that was like oil and water. Because really, it did nothing to gain or improve my confidence on what Crawford was being able to execute, or the advances that he was having on me during the fight. You know what I'm saying? I was still in trouble. It was still areas that I couldn't get out of. It was I was in a bad predicament. If you feel that heading to that fight after all these years, the biggest fight of your career, if you felt it was that, right? I don't think you all took it serious enough like that, because you felt he ain't fought nobody. But you were a trainer all that long time in the welterweight division, only to get up to Las Vegas, T-Mobile, and perform the way you did. 15 years? 15 years, bro. That's all I'm saying there, EJ. 15 years, brother. Your coach supposed to have prepared you, not just in this fight camp, But he should have been preparing you all the way up. You should have been preparing yourself to buckle up and know that each time when you beat Sean Porter, you knew you had to go get the WBO title. When you was heading there for your Dinas Ugas after coming off the eye injury and all that shit, guess what? You knew that you had to face Terrence Crawford. After you beat Ugas, you knew that you was going to be in negotiations sooner rather than later for a fight with Bud Crawford. During that time, y'all should have already gotten together like Bomac always talking about. He's studying these fighters. He's studying these fighters. They say they had studied you already. Why didn't your coach study Crawford? Why didn't your coach get with you and be able to study habits that we seen Crawford? You know what I'm saying? Certain habits that he may have seen Crawford in the ring execute. Did y'all just brush it off like it didn't matter, like he was trash, like he hadn't fought nobody on Errol Spence level? So y'all just took it as if, well, hey, I know what I possess. I know fighters I done broke down. I know the punching power I felt with the resume that I have. And I feel that Crawford hasn't, fought nobody on my resume when I fought him, how I fought him. So did you have the mentality to say, you know what, since I feel this way, I'm just going to go in there and see. I'm going to play my hand. That's all. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and play my hand on this. And I'm just going to gamble. That's pretty much what I got. I'm going to gamble on this shit. And your gambling turned out to be the worst hand you ever played. For all those years you was with Diddy, it wasn't one broken string in that motherfucker. It wasn't one instrument telling you, hey, something ain't sounding right, goddammit. Something ain't smooth. You know what I'm saying? You was still cutting weight on fight week. This is the only thing I'm gonna tell you. Usually some people say, well, it never say it can't happen. You know what I'm saying? In certain situations. Never say never. That's what they say. Never say never. Anything can happen. I just don't live like that, man. And I'm gonna put it out there to you, EJ. You walk back in there with the same coach, you ain't gonna win, bro. You're not gonna win. You go back in there believing that a fighter that you had on the end of your declaration to be undisputed, a fighter that you avoided taking the easy route. You did this, Spence. You avoided Crawford taking the easy route. You had all that time to prepare yourself to step in there with this guy who you said he ain't fought nobody. So therefore, I'm thinking from my mindset, a competitive mindset, right? I'm thinking that you should have assumed that, okay, if I don't believe he fought the top tier competition that I have, let me study this guy so I can make him look just like I believe him to be. I believe he's not on my level, so I'm gonna study this cat over and over again to pick out little subtle, intricacies about his style. So when I go in there and fight him, I know that what he's expecting, he ain't gonna get. He's gonna know I've been doing my homework. It looked like you didn't even come close to doing your homework. You know what I'm saying? It was damn near tragic. That shit was damn near tragic. You know what I'm saying? You had all these people that was bigging you up. And then when the fight started playing out and they saw how vulnerable you look, how beaten and battered you look, they started to feel sorry for you. You know what I'm saying? They up there calling the flower, the local florist, ordering bouquet of roses and shit to send in regards. You know what I'm saying? Sorry for your loss. You know what I'm saying? They up there trying to send you some bouquet of flowers, like it's a memorial, like it's a welterweight eulogy. EJ, you're going to have to make a decision, man. This is your one stop. You're going to get paid regardless. Regardless, you're going to get paid. So once again, putting the deuces up. One side, you see how much more you have and settle down and dedicate yourself, you know what I'm saying, separate and get yourself zoned in, or two, you just go collect a check with another ass whooping at another division. For real. You know, you will go down as Crawford beating you at handing you your first loss at 147 and handing you your first loss at 154 pounds. Therefore, accumulation of two losses by the same fighter in two different divisions. That's fucked up. So, you know, what I would say is, if by chance you're not contending this year in 2023, that should give you a bit more solid classroom time to kind of watch film, since your coach don't. Try to listen to the minds of other coaches that you respect, you know, the advice that they're giving you, because your coach don't watch film. See what information, what feedback they're willing to give you. See, does it pique your interest if they can tell you certain areas for which this is why that fight went the way it did. You weren't doing this, this, and this, and this. If all those bulletized points add up and they really pique your interest enough to say, damn, you see this shit and you ain't my coach. This is why Crawford was able to do this and this. Look at how you threw this punch right here and how Crawford was able to count. If they're telling you some information and you feel like, man, okay, understand, respect it. Okay. If they got you really up there getting into it, you know what I'm saying, just feeling a little bit more hungry to go back in there and redeem yourself, then that's what you need to do. You need to do it. Because I don't know what the hell y'all got going on. Like, I'm speaking to my colleagues, and we up here thinking that, hey, maybe you was in a situation where you felt you can get away and cut corners over there. You know what I'm saying? It was nobody holding you accountable because you was the fighter and you making all the money. You might not have been locked in yourself. You might have been comfortable with doing what you're doing. But when it comes down to you leaving and they want to make this a rumor mill, I mean, let's do this, EJ. Let's not make it a rumor. Let's bring it to fruition and make it a fact, so some people can report on it quickly. You know what I'm saying? And act like they're doing they're doing the justice to the YTC. Let's make it a fact, man. Let's prove WCS that what he suggested for you. Let's just go out there and prove that it's effective. Give yourself a shot. You getting a paycheck. You already goddamn, seeing several fighters rotate between trainers to get different results. You know how to fight. You got that dog in you. You know what I'm saying? You got the dog in you, bro. There's no denying that. But I think a lot of people in the boxing community, especially the Crawford supporters, I mean, we got full off that fish fry. I ain't gonna lie to you, Spence. We got full eating fish, man. Real talk. I was able to find out some fish that I never thought could be fried. And I was up there, goddamn, eating that shit up like it was cool. I said, oh man, this shit is delicious. I think I've tasted like 5 different tartar sauces. You know what I'm saying? I was going through the hot sauce. You know what I'm saying? Being from the South, I was dabbing in the hot sauce. I said, okay, cool. This is tasty. We was eating good. So this is nothing new for us. But only thing we want to happen is, for the sake of the aerosexuals, is that you give it a shot to switch coaches, man, trainers, whatever you want to call them, because you went up there for the biggest fight in your goddamn career, man, and that's inexcusable. That's inexcusable. That's just like being in the military 15 or 20 years, and you do something that a lance corporal, somebody who's only been in the Corps 3 to 4 years, do. You make a mistake like that. You went out there, you went out here and do something against the Uniform Code of Military Justice and get yourself in trouble. And they look at you like, it's no way. What's your excuse? It's not one. It's not one. It's no excuse as to why Diddy James didn't properly prepare you to step in there for the toughest fight of your life. It's no excuse as to why somebody around you didn't never tell you, hey, Crawford's a tough opponent now. You heard all these legends tell you, oh, Crawford a tough opponent, but you was like being defiant. You was like, oh, I don't want to hear that shit, man. I don't have time to hear that shit, man. I'm tough. I jump out of the pocket. I've been doing that my whole life. So I'm kind of trying to decode how much of your ego is playing a role in this motherfucking travels of yours on the back end of your career. Are you able to separate yourself from DJ after that? Were you not punished enough? Or it's just boxing to you? You've been there, done that. If it is, you take your ass in there again, man. Split the ropes. And we'll be sitting here, goddamn, with a plate full of seafood, enjoying that. Real talk. Enjoying that with an ice cold Corona or something like that. We'll enjoy that shit. Or you can allow people to know that you're not afraid to make a change at this point in your career. Get up out of there. Get some new eyes and ears. Be willing to listen. You say you hired a nutritionist. A nutritionist is not going over what game plan you should have in the ring. All nutrition is doing is helping you get down in weight. Now that you was able to make weight and you're going to fight at a higher weight, now we need to make some changes just like you did in your nutritionist. You need to sit up here and make some changes in your team and try to go up here and say, I need somebody else to be in my ear. I need for us to sit down and watch this film and see where and what we didn't do correctly so we can change that head into this rematch. Because truth be told, I think Crawford's going to go in there. He's going to go in there worse, more motivated, more vicious. He's going to be more driven to go in here and give you a worse thrashing than he gave you the first time around, because people have seen what he can do, but yet they're still not convinced, the majority. So with him, being fueled off all the naysayers and criticism and that they was talking about for the first fight, he's going to say, oh, y'all haven't learned? Y'all didn't motherfucking learn? Oh, y'all still talking shit? For real? That's what y'all doing? Y'all still talking shit? Okay. All right. You know when he got quiet on the stage during the presser? When old boy was talking shit? You know what I'm saying? And he was going for a minute. He just shut up. See, it's not shutting up because you're retreating. It's shutting up because, within your mind, you know what I'm saying, there's places that a bulb is not on. Those dark places where you reside there pretty safely. You understand what those dark areas are. You know what I'm saying? Those are dangerous areas. Not everybody has those areas. But I think if Spence comes in here with Derrick James, the fight is going to end earlier than the 9th round. And potentially it may be a worse, because he already knows what power Spence doesn't have. We can nip that in the bud. You know what I'm saying? He already knows how slow Spence was in that fight. He already knows how punctual he was able to figure Spence out early in that fight. He knows all that. That's data that he's collected, that he'll never forget. He understands. He's felt Spence power. You know what I'm saying? He felt how weak he was. He's seen how slow he was. And also, he was able to dish out some of his weaponry, and people still dumbfounded to assume that his best weaponry that he dished out to Spence. We're still unclear as to the other dark rooms that he didn't venture in to go ahead and really fumble around with his cachet and bring it out and say hello to my little friend. We didn't see that because he was making such easy work. Easy work. Easy work. He was making easy work to the point where he didn't even have to really open up the briefcases on Errol Spence. He didn't really have to pop the briefcases, man. If you want any type of success, all I'm saying, that's what you got to do, Spence. You got to leave this guy behind and you got to find somebody else. If you feel that you're not confident to leave him behind based off what happened and what you experienced and people turning their back on you in Texas and all these aerosexuals jumping ship on your ass, if you feel that the paycheck is all you need and you don't give a damn because you can just go out and rub on your horse and do that equine therapy, you know what I'm saying? If that equine therapy, brushing down your horse and that's going to forget everything, is not. So if you feel comfortable just collecting that check, brother, and you good, and you don't care about what people say, just stay with your same coach, man. Stay with Diddy. Y'all go over that choreography. You know what I'm saying? Go over your choreography. Make sure the dance steps is correct. You know what I'm saying? Because I know when Diddy get up in the ring for the rematch, there's no telling what he's gonna do. There's no telling what he's gonna do. Cause he's always up there moving all around, dancing and shit like he about to goddamn answer the bell. He about to throw some punches. Good luck. That's all I can say. Good luck to you, brother. Let me get to this chat right quick, man. Shout out to everyone that's in the chat. Big shout out to the hottest chat in the MF game on deck. You already know it. A-side official. Yes, sir. That's where we at. DMSK, what's good with it? I see you. Toby Bartlett in the building. Salute WCS in the chat. We're global. Got to keep the grease hot and frying these fish. We got to do it. D-Lo Boxing. What's good with it, D-Lo? In the building. Salute. I have a hard time believing Roy Jones Jr. one bit. Please, do tell. Do tell. I'm curious. Do tell. Hold on for a second, y'all. Y'all hold on for a second. I'm still here. Hold on for a second. I'm back, people. My bag. That was somebody from a certain team hitting me up. You know what I'm saying? They saw me. I hit them up about some information dealing with this live, about that rumor and everything like that. Pretty interesting. You know what I'm saying? They was giving their take on some stuff. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people believe that Spence is not going to leave Diddy, but from my understanding, he did talk to Calvin Ford. You know what I'm saying? EJ did talk to Calvin Ford, but it's not to say that anything was discussed about him having Calvin Ford come over, and be a part of this next training camp. That I'm not going to sit up here and try to feed you anything and start any other rooms. But that about them talking on the phone, that's not a rumor. That came from the horse's mouth. You know what I'm saying? About them talking on the phone. As far as what they go forward with, that's up to them. You know what I'm saying? But truth be told, y'all, hold on for a second. Truth be told, it's a lot that has to happen for this next go around. And I said what I said. I think, he should really take in consideration about moving forward. If he's not going to get rid of him completely, he definitely needs somebody else to come in there. Because I think a lot of coaches have a different fighting style. I think Calvin Ford, especially, talking to the person I just got off the phone with, definitely has a different coaching style than Diddy. Definitely. He definitely has a different coaching style than Diddy. Can that be effective or efficacious, so to speak? I believe it. I believe it can. I believe it can. But also you have to consider, when Tank next fight, is it not going to have conflict with Tank in his next fight and so forth? Let me continue to go through. Did he call Errol crying? Rumors say you leaving me. Say it ain't true. Say it ain't true, dog. Man, come on, dog. Say it ain't true, dog. Say it's just rumors, man. Say it's just rumors, man. Don't get rid of me, dog. Don't get rid of me, dog. I do anything, man. I do anything. I'll make it right, man. I'll sit down and watch film 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 until I get sick of it. I'm going to turn you into a brand new fighter, dog. Shout out to Samuel, man. Salute WCS. I saw this breaking news on X. Is it confirmed? No, it's not confirmed. It is just a rumor. You know what I'm saying? It was just scuttlebutt, as we call it in the military. Scuttlebutt. All right? That is rumor mill. Certain people in the mods and chat. Shout out to Carlos Rosado in the building. Salute to you, brother. Diddy James saying move your feet and we're going to break him down is not going to work. Not respecting your opponent is bad coaching too. Spence needs to make adjustments. Hey, talk to him, Samuel. Let him know that you've been paying attention. You know what I'm saying? That you've been allotting attention to the small areas of concern that we need to deal with first instead of just jumping straight to the big ones. You got to take care of the small minor infractions because this rematch is not going to be nice, yo. If he did fire Errol, I don't know why he didn't do it sooner. To be honest, it doesn't matter who trains Errol. It can be Bomac himself, but still whooping his ass because there's levels to this WCS. I think if he had the right coach that he knew, like let's just say Crawford wasn't with Bomac, okay, then maybe something like that will work if he respects him enough. You know what I'm saying? If he respects him, you feel me? I don't know. It may be the fighter. Spence may be a bit obstinate. Who knows? But he has to be open-minded enough to be able to take criticism and be able to be taught, man. He has to. He has to be willing to do that, man. If he's not willing to take criticism and basically adhere to instructions, then he's SOL. But I will tell y'all this, right? I really think after this next fight at 154 with Spence, I think he should retire. I mean, that's all honesty right there. No, aerosexual shit or nothing like that. I believe the brother should retire, else he might end up like Gerald McClellan. And my only take on that is obviously there's some things going on in his life, that may affect him heading into this fight or extending his fight career. It may be some situations that deals with him psychologically that he, like I said before, that he cannot change. There may be situations that may be affecting his mechanics and how his mind is now transmitting, you know what I'm saying, transmitting certain commands, you know what I'm saying, communicating on certain mechanical functions that he would like to carry out, but it's just too slow. You know how they say, well, I'm just not able to pull the trigger. Well, you know, he may be communicating. Your mind can tell you a lot of things. Like your mind can tell you a lot of things. Click, 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 pop, boom, boom. It'd be firing off, firing off, firing off. But in a situation where, you know, you're being forced to respond to certain things immediately, it may not have the time on it that you would like. I did see him with pretty good reaction, pretty decent reaction when it came to fighting, though. Like Crawford saw everything, but still, he had some pretty good reaction time on some of his shots that he was trying to land. You know, real talk. He has some pretty good reaction time. So he still has a little bit left in the tank. But this particular fight at 154, I just want to see it happen because, you know, it's a history between these two. They already have 1-0, you know, Bud Crawford. And I would definitely like to see him step in there for a rematch at 154 to see exactly, you know, does he look any different than the first time? And then after that, with that 20 plus whatever he's about to make in a rematch, retire. Because I don't think it's going to be a loving sport to him if he goes with that 54 and fight them big dogs. I don't think it'll be tough. I mean, I don't think it'll be beneficial to him. I don't think it'll be loving to him. Seriously. T, what's good? What's good? Just add a coach, Errol. That's it. Your career. If Derek don't like it's too bad. Had to step out for a bit. But back on deck. Breaking Errol Spence Jr. loss in the T-Mobile massacre was due to Diddy James' hand fracture of excessive mitt work from so many fighters in the stable. This is breaking news. Heard it first here. I know, right, Samuel? You know what I'm saying? That breaking news, boy. That breaking news. It can get people, you know, to lean over a little bit. Let me see what he's talking about. Okay. Man, I was thinking about that already, man. I'm going to do a live on it anyway. I was thinking about that already. Real talk, man. I was thinking about that shit already. He ain't the first to do that shit, man. Yeah, he talking about. He wasn't the first. Shit, I was thinking about that, man, just a minute ago, long before he started to do a live. Fuck that, man. He's trying to take my shine. He was hearing my thoughts. That's what they try to do, man. Kenny Porter said Bomac can get sparring partners for Sean Porter, but you can't get sparring partners for Bud Crawford. 100%. So why did he think it should be different for him? Man, great point. He absolutely said that. Great point, man. That shit was crazy. You know what I'm saying? For somebody to say you can get sparring partners for my son, but you can't get sparring partners for a guy who fought my son and beat my son. You can't get sparring partners for him. That shit's wild, man. You know what I'm saying? That shit wild. How can you not get sparring partners? And Virgil Hunter said it too. Virgil Hunter said the same thing. He said it when he was on the live. You know what I'm saying? You know, he said the same thing. He said you can't really get sparring partners for Terrence, but if you are, you have to get somebody that's a switch hitter. And you know, Derrick James was kind of jettison the fact that switch hitting was important. What was important when it came to Terrence Crawford. He really didn't take it as anything that he needed to be concerned with. He's like, man, get out of here. You know, he was on Marco. He was on Marco channel. I forgot his whole channel name, but you know, he was on there and Marco asked him about, you know, switch hitting. He quickly gave the same disgruntled response that he gave to the Fight Hype report, I believe, that asked him about the 10 straight knockouts. And he's like, oh man, that don't matter who he fought. But when this was brought up about the switch hitting, he said, man, come on, man, switch hitting don't matter, man. Come on, get out of here with that. Man, switch hitting don't matter. Switch hitting, you know, whatever. So, just the fact that Crawford, you know, he made the decision at the last freaking minute when he was walking out. So he made the decision to fight Southpaw at the last minute of him walking to the ring. So he basically locked it in. He locked it in. He was going to start off in Southpaw, and that's what he did. And we seen what happened. You know what I'm saying? He was saying this, hey man, they think I can't fight this guy in close. You know what I'm saying? He only fought 2 Southpaws in his career. They think I'm gonna come out orthodox and all that. No, he didn't give up nothing. He came up came out southpaw, and that's where he stayed. He stayed in that stance, and it was very effective, man. He was end up, getting a 2-1. You know what I'm saying? Get the knockdown early in the second. I mean, it was what it was, bro. That Thurman interview is right on point. Arrow footwork and head movement is awful. It's a lot that's been that way with Errol Spence for some time, but his opposition, the way they manufactured his resume, pretty much allowed him to shine the way he did. You know what I'm saying? It allowed him to shine the way he did. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It allowed that man to shine. He was in there with opposition that fit his style, and he was able to move up the ladder that way. Now, to be honest with you, I you know how I said Teo was going to be, Teofimo Lopez was going to be champion, and his next division he was going to move up to. You know what I'm saying? I believe that, you can see it in fighters like Shakur Stevenson. He's definitely going to be champion at 35, definitely going to be champion at 140. You know what I'm saying? It's possible that he can be a 5-division champion when his career is over with. I don't know if he's ever going to be undisputed or whatever the case may be. But Shakur Stevenson give me those vibes of his competitive spirit, that he's a student, right? And when you get a student that's willing to be taught by the professor, I think he's going to do big things. With EJ though, I don't know who his professor is. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who his professor is. It's definitely not Diddy. I mean, who is his professor? Who's teaching him? Like, a professor has to be somebody that you look at like, I'm really learning something. I'm really learning something from this person. Who is he learning? Who is he learning from? Real talk. Who is he learning from? Who is his professor? You have to ask yourself, people, that. You have to ask yourself that. Who is Errol Spence professor? Has he ever had a professor in life? Who was Terrence Crawford professor? He had to have some professors around him, on top of him being a very curious fighter. You know what I'm saying? A very patient, disciplined, willing to sit there and learn the sport, on top of his natural, innate given ability to go in there and, like he said, be stronger than what he looks like. You know what I'm saying? Be gifted to be athletic the way he is, physically gifted, and pretty much, go in there and able to carry out instructions by being taught. Who is his professors, man? Who is Spence professors? I don't know if Spence ever had professors, bro. I think he had people that just lined him up for fights that he needed. Real talk. As far as that, I don't know, people. Diddy should bring in Boots, since he shares similar tools as Bud. PBC for life. Mighty Al Heyman will allow it. Bring in Boots. So you're saying Boots fight like Crawford? You know what? It takes more than switch hitting to say that they have mirror images of each other. Um, I don't see outside of switch hitting. Yeah, they can say he's switch hitting. They do have similarities, but would he get any benefit off Boots? Who knows? You might be on to something there, Samad. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That you might be on to something. But he have to be willing to have Boots in there, and Boots will have to be able to move around with Arrow and to kind of give him those looks. But guess what? Guess what, Samad? What you're missing a little bit, right? Is that why do you need to bring in Boots to switch hit if you're trying to insinuate, right? You're trying to imply that potentially Crawford might come in there and switch hitting in the rematch, because in the first fight he didn't switch hit. But if you're taking a guess that the different look will be in the rematch, that Crawford comes in there and fight orthodox and then switch up to southpaw, okay, yeah, you might be on to something. It may be something to pay attention to. Okay. If they're guessing, if they really, I'm talking about playing their cards right. If they really want to be the savant, are they looking ahead to say, hey, well, he may potentially come in here and be a switch hitter next time around to give us a different look. The way I believe he's thinking and what I seen in there, I wouldn't put it past him. So we're gonna work on that too. Hey, it might happen. I don't know. It might happen, bro. I don't know. Bring in Boots to spar Arrow for 6 months. Nah, he definitely don't need it for 6 months. You know what I'm saying? Definitely don't need it for 6 months. But at the end of the day, this is just a rumor. And kudos to the person who spreaded the rumor. You know what I'm saying? It happens all the time in boxing news, not so much MMA. You feel me? Not so much MMA. But you always get moments like this in between fights that people want to drop rumors, and just like ants on sugar, you know what I'm saying? People flock to them and try to scoop up and race to do a thumbnail and put breaking news up there. But remember, Pinocchio now, his nose didn't grow because he was getting older now. Pinocchio nose is growing because he was a straight up liar. Pinocchio look innocent, but that motherfucker was a liar. You know what I'm saying? He was a goddamn liar. Don't believe anything else but that. Hey, but y'all make sure y'all stay close to the situation, man. Don't be fooled by the rumors and everything. Don't let it consume you. You feel me? This is one of those areas where this shit play out so much in boxing. It's always somebody dropping a goddamn lie, and everybody want to talk about it. I guess it will be forever that way, man. The boxing fans will forever be that way. Some of them. They will forever latch on to anything and everything. But we'll see in upcoming weeks. Now that it's been made official that he is getting a rematch, he's exercising the rematch. Let's see what plays out. He say he's gonna disappear, whatever. Hey, man, you can disappear all day long. I mean, it's not like we seen you training for this fight. So you disappearing, I don't know what the fuck that's about. It's not like we seen you, real talk. This fight that just played out. It's not like we seen you, real talk. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we seen you, truth be told. But man, it is what it is with this rumor. It's a good one. The boxing truth, man. Spence moves on from Diddy James. I don't believe it totally. Did I suggest I suggest he does. But is it gonna happen? I don't know. I mean, I'm on the outside looking in. I don't know. Only thing I can say is a part of me feels that Spence loves doing what Spence wants to do. You know what I'm saying? Spence loves just making his own decision, and Diddy is aware of this. He's acclimated to it. He's been around him long enough to know the good and bad of when it comes to what he's doing in between fights and what he actually does during a fight camp. He's been there, y'all. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's been there. He knows it. So if he chooses to stay there, then why don't you just try to bring in somebody else? So they can bounce ideas off one another, off the film study. But truth be told, this is just me talking on it. I don't care so much to the fact that I'm wishing and hoping that he does what's best for him. He has to go in here and get it done. He has to take the initiative. He has to make those command decisions. He has to prove to the people that he's not in there for a paycheck. Because he go in there, he gets stopped earlier, man. You're gonna have to move out of Texas, bro. You just can't stay on your ranch like you a freaking, you know what I'm saying, like you're a refugee or something, hiding out. Shit, you need to make this work. You need to be competitive. Because I know Team Crawford gonna be over there in the lab like they down 0-1, dog. That's the mentality that separates, Crawford from you. He's probably gonna train like he's down 0-1. Like he's coming back in there to beat you for the first time, bro. Your mentality is say, I'm going in there and see what works. Just because he beat me in 47 don't mean he's gonna beat me in 54 because I was weight drained. I said I wasn't gonna make no excuses, but looking back at it, yeah, it was hard for me to make that weight. So 154, I don't think I can be stopped, dog. And truth be told, those knockdowns, it was just because I was weight drained. I was at 47. That's what the aerosexual was gonna say. It's just because I was at, I was weight drained or whatever. You know what I'm saying? He was weight drained. You gotta look at it that way. He was weight drained, and he was at the division too long. So who was around him to tell him to leave? Why he didn't leave? I don't know nothing about that. All right, then. If you don't know nothing about it, stop talking about it then. You take away Errol Jabs, you take away his biggest strength. Are we still Carlos? I don't think that jab exists no more, man. I think that shit was put in a freaking one of what those boxes they used to a safe security box or whatever. I think that shit was locked up in like a vault. I never seen it exist the way it's supposed to. Like I seen it with other fighters, but when he was in there with Crawford, I mean, I didn't see no part of that jab being effective. I mean, but I did see a jab from the other side coming out of Omaha. Now his shit was taking the role or taking the place of what we supposed to see him coming out of Texas. I mean, his jab was very, very appointment orientated. He didn't miss shit. For real. Crawford couldn't miss shit with that jab. I don't know, man. Maybe Bomac should train both of the fighters, in the same gym, man, just so it can be competitive, so they can work on, getting familiar with one another. I think Bomac should train, goddamn, Errol Spence 2 hours and then train, Bud Crawford when he can train Bud. And then he'll really go down as hey, maybe he should just have him in the gym at the same time to make this interesting, bro. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he should do something he ain't never did before, man. Just train both of the fighters, man. To make it a little bit closer than what we expecting. You know what I'm saying? Just do it, man. I just see another massacre playing out. I just see him, man. Oh my God. I just don't see it going well, bro. I don't. When Errol lose at 154, it's because he put on too much weight and he wasn't acclimated to the division. I'm pretty sure. Let me post that up there because they're gonna screenshot that right there. They're gonna say, that's interesting. Let me write that down. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna screenshot that motherfucker. They're gonna memorize it. 154. He put on too much weight and he wasn't acting like. Okay, cool. I know to use that next time I'm on a panel. I'm gonna use that shit right there. No, man. I'm glad he's gonna be at 154, just for the safekeeping and the sanity of the aerosexuals. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad he's gonna be at 154 so they can go to sleep at night knowing that they can't use that as one of his excuses. He's gonna be at 154 this time. So good for him. Good for him. Seriously, good for him. But people, I'm a bounce, man. Be careful about these rumors. You know what I'm saying? Before I do, salute to the hottest chat in the MFing game, A-Side Official. You already know, man. Until next time, y'all hold it down. Be very careful out here with these aerosexuals. They are lurking. They are agitated, and they're not in their right frame of mind. Be very careful. You know what I'm saying? Be very careful. The way you get rid of them, all you have to do is reach in your pocket. If you had some old goddamn candy bar crumbs in there, some cookies or something like that, just toss it over there. That's all you need to do. And that'll divert their attention. Okay. Y'all hold it down. Peace. I'm out.
Left jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss. Now you counting stars. Should've practiced more. Should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports.